She's a mother, wife, literacy advocate, and now author who is debuting a new book about how to help parents teach their children literacy at an early age. And tonight, that book will launch in Milwaukee. I sat down with Maya Smart to talk about her new book and how it will make an impact on people right here in our hometown.
This book has been a long time coming.
It's a book 10 years in the making and started when her daughter Zora was a baby. Like most parents, Maya Smart wanted to be the best mother that she could be.
When my daughter was born 10 years ago, I was so fascinated with articles that I read about reading disparities among different populations of children. So between black children and white children, or lower socioeconomic children and more well-off children. And so just started digging into that, asking a lot of questions, and I'm excited to be at the point where I've compiled all of that research so that I can share it in a neat package for other people.
The book, called Reading for Our Lives, a literacy action plan birth to 6, is just that. It gives concrete examples of simple things parents can do to help their children become active readers, writers, and express themselves thoroughly.
One concrete thing that I mentioned in the book is this idea of not just talking to the child or at the child. A bit of advice that I got when my daughter was a baby was narrate everything. Talk all the time when you're with her. Talk about the groceries you're buying or the food that's on the table and the grass that's outside, and all of those things are important. I want people to know that raising a reader isn't just about reading to your child every day or reading to them as often as you can. It is also about the conversations that you have around those books, and it's also about the conversations you have when there are no books in the space.
Please welcome your
And she's doing it with her family by her side.
Coach Shaka Smart.
Her husband, Shaka Smart, is the head men's basketball coach at Marquette University. Together, this family has been traveling from campus to campus, making their dreams come true. They landed in Milwaukee, and Maya Smart wrote this book while the family was in lockdown during the pandemic.
My husband also has just been tremendously supportive of, the times when I have created those boundaries and say, I need this time to do this project for me. He's been able to adapt and, pick up some of the things I was doing previously during that time period and make it work. So I'm just very fortunate to have the world's most supportive husband.
Smart considers herself to be a literacy advocate and sits on boards supporting the concept, working on educational policy at Marquette's College of Education.
In my memories, he was always up, reading the newspaper at the kitchen table.
Where she read the intro, which is dedicated to her late father.
My favorite part of this book is probably the introduction. In the introduction, I talk a bit about my dad, who passed away when I was pregnant with my daughter. So I had the opportunity to tell him that I was going to have a child, but he didn't have the opportunity to meet her.
After the launch, the book will be sold all over the country and available on audiobook, educating new parents everywhere about one of the most important subjects a person can learn, making her father undoubtedly proud.
I think he would be extraordinarily proud of me. I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to write a book. It just took me a little longer than I anticipated. And the topic was also something I wouldn't have, 20 years ago, would not have thought that I'd be writing a book about early literacy, that I'd be writing a book for parents. Would have thought that I'd be a novelist. I was named after Maya Angelou. I named my daughter Zora after Zora Neale Hurston. And there may still be a novel in me, but I think that there is something really important about raising public awareness.
Isn't she awesome?
She is. I really loved when she said raising a reader isn't just about reading to your child. It's about all kinds of communication. Very impressed.
It really is. Maya and I met because we're both members of the Milwaukee chapter of Jack and Jill. It's an organization where, mothers can forge meaningful relationships with each other and for our children. So a lot of dedicated people in this group, and she's really an incredible person. And even though her last name is Smart, I'd say that's an understatement, and she's brilliant.
Yeah, wonderful. And, looking forward to that book. A lot of people, I'm sure, going to pick it up and learn a lot from it.
Yeah, definitely. And Maya Smart's book